Good morning, everybody. This is Judy Feldhausen, and I am joined by my awesome co-host, Bob Wischmeier today. Good morning, Bob.
Morning, Judy. Thanks, you guys. Thanks all of you for joining our webinar this morning. We appreciate it very much, Judy.
Absolutely. And today we're going to continue our series with Simon Sinek's Start with Why. And this is our ongoing leadership series. This is actually the third time we've been inside this book. And today's lesson is really extremely interesting because he's talking about an alternative perspective. And I don't know about the people that are listening or watching here today, but when I first started in network marketing and even in my regular sales career, I was told that benefits is what sells product. And so, I just really dug into the features of the products that I was looking to sell and what the benefits would be for those products. And Simon Sinek goes and talks about a different way. And today we're going to talk about that different way and some of the background and his research on how he came up with this. And this has become so popular. Actually, when I went through my coaching courses, starting with why was really something that we focused on with our clients to help them really see about why they're in business and what makes them get up in the morning. So,
yeah, you know what? I'm sorry, Judy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, as we go through this today, I want everyone to stop and think about your synergy business, why we're in the business that we're in. I've worked with young people for years, and in the process of working with kids, trying to help young people to set goals and do the kinds of things they do. It's been really an eye-opening experience for me, and helping them to understand why they're doing the things that they're doing has been really hugely significant. And I think that as we look at our business, Synergy Worldwide, and look at what we're doing, even within our own families, who wouldn't benefit from learning some new things, some new ideas or concepts or ways of doing business or taking care of things? And Simon Sinek really helps us to understand why we do what we do, if you will. And so these are some great counsel, and be thinking about your synergy business as we go through this, Judy, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. And you said it so great, why we do what we do. And also, in addition to that, it's why we buy what we buy. And Simon Sinek actually talks about how this way of doing things doesn't manipulate people or force people into a role or a avenue on where they don't want to be. Because if you can inspire action by offering the why, people act out of want, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, you don't have to manipulate anybody. If people understand why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to pick people up. That's how it works.
Right.
We lead with why, right?
We lead with why. So there's a golden circle that Simon has actually put together, and it's so simplistic in the way he has figured this out, but there's so much depth to that. And that's why we decided to really spend a lot of time today on this golden circle.
And yeah, it's let's Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, if you look at the screen, it's the what, the how, and the why. And Bob, would you like to expand a little bit about on that?
Yeah, thank you. I'm for interrupting you. I apologize. Let's just kind of define this for a moment. What is what? You know, I think every company, every why they do what they do. And Simon Sinek says, I don't mean to make money. That's a result. By why, he says, I mean, what is your purpose? Cause, belief. Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed every morning? And why should anyone care? When most organizations or people think, act, or communicate, they do so from the outside in, from what to why. And for good reason. They go from the clearest thing, which is what they do, to the easiest thing, which is why. We say what we do. We sometimes say how we do it, but we rarely say why we do what we do. Judy?
And that's so true. And Simon actually talks about flipping this whole thing. Apple really over the industry so many years. Most computer companies say, computer companies, isn't that true? That's what they do. And they're full use, they're user friendly, and to say, okay, so do you want what you're doing, and this is how you're doing it, so don't you want to buy one? And so what Simon Sinek says is start on the outside of the survey and then ends up to the what. So it doesn't just reverse the information, but what they do is they take that order and communicate from the inside belief. With Apple Computer, made them millions and made Apple just the top of the industry, really be the best. If you talk to Apple, of course they are, but it's the what.
We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge this is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. And we happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? So really, you've kind of, if you will, is reverse that role. Not just reverse the order of information, but the message shares begins with why. We make a difference. We think outside of the box. It's the purpose, the cause, the belief has nothing to do with what they do. You see, what they do, the products they make, from computers to small electronics, no longer serves as the reason to buy. They're just the tangible proof of their cause. And it's just a whole different concept. They start with why. And it's one of the reasons, probably the main reason, that they've continued to be a leader in all of these industries for such a long, long time. It's just a phenomenal concept. Judy?
It really is. And if you look at even what he did with the music industry, so Steve Jobs was not the first one to invent, the concept of having music on a digital device, but he was the first one to put the why in it. So he started with the iPod, and it was having 1,000 songs in your pocket. Now, can you visualize that? Doesn't that give you a lifestyle? Being able to carry your music anywhere you go, and being able to share it with your friends and your family, and not having to around this huge boombox or whatever, but to have 1,000 songs in your pocket. That why was extremely powerful.
It is. It's remarkable. And, these guys are brilliant. Lots of companies sell computers. Lots of companies sell iPods, and that kind of thing. It's not what Apple does so much that distinguishes them. It's why they do it. Their products give life to their cause. Of course, the products matter, but it's the reason they matter that is contrary to the conventional wisdom. The reason they matter is that the people perceive Apple as being authentic, as a company that thinks differently, challenging the status quo. And that's really how they've built their business. We're not the same as everybody else. We think differently. We think outside the box. And it's created an enormous surge of loyalty to them. People love Apple products, and they aren't always necessarily the best product on the market. But I'll tell you what, they have a remarkable loyal following. Apple actually changed their name years ago. It used to be Apple Computer Inc. And they changed their name to just Apple Inc., right? Having the word computer in their name, it didn't limit what they did, but it did limit how they thought of themselves. So they removed computer. Now it's just Apple. The change wasn't practical, it was just a philosophical change, because it opened up everybody's minds within the company. We're Apple. We're not Apple computers. We're Apple. We can do anything. We're innovative. We can move forward. It's a brilliant philosophical change in their company, and it certainly has, for all of us, I think, created this measure of loyalty to Apple and to the things that they produce. It's brilliant, really, Judy.
It is, and you're right when you say it's philosophical. And I am not an Apple, only an Apple person. I use all types of computers. I'm not tied to one. But for my friends that are, they really have a loyalty to Apple, and almost a frenzied loyalty. Like nothing else matters. I have to have my Apple products, and I'm tied to those products because I believe that they are the best for me and how I do my business or run my personal life or whatever their reason is. But they have instilled such a loyalty to their following. To me, it's almost crazy the way that they have done that, and they do not believe that there is another product out there that does what their device does for them.
It's really brilliant, isn't it? I was thinking about this. My little sister Mary lives in Agora Hills, California, and Mary is going to move up here to our ranch farm property up here. We're going to build our little house out here on the ridge with us. She drives a Prius. My brother-in-law, who lives there in the Channel Islands area in Southern California, and my sister Cheryl drive a Prius. Well, Bonnie and I were having a conversation yesterday as we were heading into town about Mary's car, because it's a really nice car. It's a Prius, it's a nice car. But it is not a nice car to have out here on Little Bear Ridge where we live, where the snow drops in, and it's just not a winter weather car. Anyway, what I thought about when we were having that conversation is how sold I am and have been sold, and my loyalty has been to Toyota Tacomas. I've been driving Toyota Tacoma pickups, four-door pickups, for a long time. It's my vehicle of choice. I love them. I'm totally loyal to that particular pickup. I just am. It's a lifestyle that fits for me. That particular vehicle fits my lifestyle perfectly. Bonnie made the comment that as we were driving, how safe she feels when she's driving our Toyota Tacoma four-wheel drive pickup. You can go anywhere. It's safe. It's good. It's heavy. Whatever. Is it the best truck on the road? Well, I don't know. But I will choose one every time. As a boy growing up, of course, we grew up in rural America, but there was always this you're either a Ford guy or a Chevy guy, and this, it goes back a long way. But if you were a Ford guy, you wouldn't buy a Chevy. You just wouldn't. And if you were a Chevy guy, you wouldn't buy a Ford. It's a loyalty thing, and it fits your lifestyle. It fits the way that you live your life, and it doesn't matter whether one is better than the other. You could never convince the Ford guy that his truck was not as good as the Chevy guy. So this is one of the things that starting the business with understanding why you're doing what you're doing creates that loyalty that no other company around you have. HP doesn't have that kind of loyalty. Now, I've got an HP PC. I really like it, but it's not the end all for me. I would switch to another computer. It would just depend on the price and the computer. But Apple people, they won't switch, Judy. They're there. They're not going to change one. They're not going to change their camp, and it's pointless to argue. I think that's true.
Yeah, it really does. And so that creation of loyalty that Apple has developed it's just amazing in that they don't look at other brands. And so I think the question for us as Synergy distributors is, how do we create that loyalty and be able to show that lifestyle for our clients?
I love that Dan Higginson's motto is leave a legacy. It's just been always right at the forefront of everything that he talks about, is that you leave a legacy. Excuse me. And it's helped to brand Synergy worldwide as well. Other things that have branded Synergy is quality assurance. That has been a hugely significant part of the company for me. Understanding the quality of the products that we market. I hinge a lot of what I do on that one thing in and of itself, that our products are the highest quality products that you can buy. I wanted to read something too, Judy, if I could, in Simon Sinek's book. He says, a simple claim of better, even with the rational evidence to back it up, can create desire and even motivate a decision to buy, but it doesn't create loyalty. If a customer feels inspired to buy a product rather than manipulated, if he's inspired rather than manipulated, they'll be able to verbalize the reasons why they think what they bought is better. If you have that, if your loyalty to your product is strong enough, you can verbalize that. You can tell people exactly why you wanted to buy what you bought. Good quality and features matter, but they're not enough to produce loyalty that most inspiring leaders and companies are able to command. It's the cause that is represented by the company that inspires loyalty, Judy.
Yes. And talking about this, Simon Sinek says that doesn't mean that everything has to be that way, that the why is not the only way. It is just one way of doing businesses. And there have been many other businesses that have been successful that did not focus on the why. I mean, if you look at the train industry, this is actually a picture I took of a train when I was in Colorado. And it just brought back that memory of the railroads, and they were really at the top of their game. And they were extremely successful for a long period of time. So the why isn't always about you won't be successful unless, because they were. But when you're talking about longevity, the railways are not as successful now as they were 100 years ago. And they kind of focused on the what they were doing and didn't look at the why they were doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's made a huge difference in the railroad industry. There's no question about it. When a business loses sight of their why, then they tend to begin to manipulate rather than trying to inspire in business. And it's something you see all the time. Businesses may start out with a pretty clear understanding of why they're doing what they're doing, but there comes that point where they lose sight of that, and people in management change, etc. And then they begin to manipulate rather than inspire. It's an interesting thing. There's a paragraph at the very end of Simon's book here, and I wanted to read it if I could, Judy, if you don't mind. It says, in all cases, going back to the original purpose, cause, or belief will help industries adapt. Instead of asking, what should we do to compete? The question must be asked, why did we start doing what we're doing in the first place? What can we do to bring our cause to life, considering all the technologies and market opportunities available today? It's so true. If you can somehow maintain the clear understanding of why you're doing what you're doing in your business, you can continue to be, or you will continue to be successful. I know that Simon Sinek is picking or using Apple here as an example, but Southwest Airlines is another great example. When you read Good to Go, no.
Good to Great.
Good to Great. Yeah, sorry. I lost my train of thought there. Can you imagine that? Good to Great. Again, you get back to, how do you go from being a good business to being a great business? And really the focus ends up being on why you're doing what you're doing. It's really profound stuff. So then we have to ask ourselves, well, what about this little independent Synergy worldwide business that I'm involved in? How can I focus better? How do I define why I'm doing what I'm doing? And it will be key, I think, moving forward. When we were doing our Team 6 training some years back, we focused on what, how, and why. And it makes a difference, Judy. How about for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to start with that lifestyle or that why when you're even doing your 30-second infomercial makes such a difference. When people ask me what I do, and it happens a lot because I get to talk to new people every day because of what I'm doing with LinkedIn. When people ask me what I do, I always start with why I'm doing it. I never say this is what I do. It's about why I'm doing it. And I have my own personal story. And so we need to create all our own personal stories. I mean, one of the things that I talk about when I'm talking about the why of the product, and most of the people that I talk to are in their late 40s, 50s, 60s on up, I really focus on being an active participant in my family's lives. And, I call it the rocking chair grandma. What is your choice? Do you want to be the rocking chair grandma or grandpa that has the grandchildren on their lap listening to the fun they had today? Or would you want to be the active grandparent that is participating in what they're doing and enjoying it as they're doing it, so that in the evening you have memories that you've made together? And when I talk about that, people say, well, how can I make that happen? And then I can go on and talk about the product and Perarginine Plus or E9 or, the gut health products or whatever that conversation leads us. But having to start with the why, it creates an instant connection with the person, especially if you have some background information on them and you know that they're a grandparent or a parent, or that they are looking to gain more freedom or time or energy, and you can focus on that particular why they have and go on after that to the what and then the how.
Yeah, Judy, that's awesome. That's just so great. And that's where we're at. I think all of us, we want to be that kind of older person where we are engaged. My son Ben was here visiting from Houston, Texas, for a week, and we headed down into our canyon. I took a couple of chainsaws down and some cable and chains and whatnot, and did some logging. And it's something that I've been wanting to do. And I had a certain grove of tamarack trees I wanted to bring down, and so Ben and I went down in the canyon, and we did some logging one day. Well, I'm almost 69 years old, and we had conversations in the process of doing that about being able to continue to do the kinds of things that we love to do even when we're older. And it's that same thing, Judy, where what is our why? Why do I want to use Synergy products? Why do I want to supplement? Why do I want to follow those 4 pillars of health: diet, exercise, supplementation, and sleep? And it's to stay healthy for the sake of my family and for the joy that it is to be able to be physically active even as the years go by. It's a powerful why, and thank you for sharing that. I love that. Rocking chair grandma, huh? I don't have a rocking chair.
Oh my gosh, I have 2 of them. You can borrow one anytime, Bob. Just come over here.
We gave ours to one of the kids for their new baby.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's great. Well, anyway, that's all I had for this morning. It's a kind of a complicated conversation that we've had this morning, but I guess understanding our why is just so hugely significant that no matter how we package it, the bottom line is that we need to understand why we do what we do. We can figure out how to do it from there. Judy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bob. And do we have any questions or comments before we say goodbye today?
So Judy, I just want to make sure you're in listening to the rocking chair grandparent versus the active grandparent. I think what you're saying to us is that we are wanting to be the active grandparent and not sit in the rocking chair. Am I hearing you correct?
Yes, or at least sit in the rocking chair and discuss the memories that you created during the actions that you did as an active grandparent.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking from a marketing standpoint that you'd want to show a grandparent in a rocking chair versus a grandparent that's actively engaged, and ask the question, which do you want to be? Do you want to be listening, or do you want to be actively participating?
Absolutely.
And if our why is to be people who are actively participating in life to the fullest, then we want to share our why that lines up with other people who want to actively be participating in life. We don't want to align ourselves with people who want to sit there in a rocking chair and have no desire to get out of the rocking chair. We want to resonate with the people who want to either get out of the rocking chair or they want to never get into the rocking chair.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Looking for like-minded people, really.
Yeah, and again, we need to understand our market. Our market isn't necessarily people who are in their 20s and 30s. Our market are people who are in 45 and above who don't want to become old, or understand that they're going to become old, but they don't want to become inactive. And so we want to be able to have our message, our why, is to keep people as active as possible for as long as they can.
Perfect. That's just perfect.
Totally agree.
Judy, one last thing before we close too. I mentioned my son Ben from time to time. He works for in Houston, but he's been promoted to a position in Greeley, Colorado. It's just north of Denver. Are you familiar with that area?
I am. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that's where he's going to be heading. Probably not during the year. They're going to be doing things virtually for between now and the end of the year, but Yeah, he's taken a position in Greeley with Chevron Oil bought out another oil company, Noble Oil, out of Greeley. And he's going in there as the first Chevron, kind of an ambassador, I guess, to change things over from one company to another.
Well, that is awesome. We'll have to get him connected with my daughter and son-in-law.
Yeah, he'd enjoy that. He's a great guy. He really is. Well, fun. Any other questions or thoughts, you guys, before we close for the day?
It's Donald.
Hey, Donald.
Hi again. Just want to mention, in our early introduction of this book, if you remember, Simon Sinek talked about TiVo. In fact, he featured TiVo as one of his in one of his examples. And the what in TiVo as a streaming device, and they still haven't gotten it because they have come out with a new streaming device that Amazon is beating the pants off them. I mean, it's an excellent streaming device. It's the best, but they're still talking price as opposed to what it does. And everybody, every television company streams, and the features that TiVo does in this little device for $49. And Apple is beating the pants off of them because one of the things that they feature is price. And if you remember in our early conversations, we never talk price. It is what our product does. Because once you talk price, then you would always be in a price war with some of the other peoples who make arginine and doesn't have in citrulline. So those are the kinds of things that I picked up in this Start With Why. Very, very powerful book. So thanks again for taking me back there.
You bet. Thank you, Donald.
Yeah,
Hey, good morning. This is David.
Yes, David.
Hey, listen, thank you so much for the presentation. My biggest takeaway today is just a reminder of the branding, how important it is, the what you leave with the customer and how you create loyalty. Because that is, again, something that is a good reinforcement to have, because it's just not the sale, but the following. And the same way that Apple has created loyalty, as you say, once they're loyal to that brand, they're convinced it's the best. And that's something that certainly, that's my biggest takeaway, reinforcing the importance of creating loyalty with your customers. And of course, that in our business creates reorders, and growth is what we want. So thanks again for your presentation.
You're certainly welcome. David,
if I might add just one note here. Now, here in Barbados, there's this big conversation about not network marketing, but not Ponzi scheme. They're saying that network marketing is Tim, if you're on.
Pyramid?
I'm sorry?
A pyramid scheme?
Yeah, a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
And now that conversation is pretty big going on right here, and nothing is further from the truth. So we've got here in Barbados, have got to fight that Synergy is not a pyramid scheme. And that has only just cropped up the last couple of weeks here in a big way. So that's a job that we've got to do here in letting them know, differentiating, that's the word I was looking for, the what we do. In other words, we sell a product, not we sell, but we market a product as opposed to marketing money. So, or marketing people coming on and how you get paid and all that kind of stuff. So, thanks again.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Donald. Good luck with that. You know, we're a customer-based product, really, and it really does differentiate Synergy from other network marketing companies. Much of what we do is based on customer acquisition, not distributor acquisition and, you know, manipulating people. It's customer-based, which is hugely significant in this industry. It keeps us safe, I think, as well.
Absolutely. And our speech has to be in alignment with that, meaning you're especially when you're looking for distributors, you're talking customers and product.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
You bet.
You're welcome. Anything else before we say good day?
That's it for me, Judy. Thank you so much.
Okay.
This is Dr. Brooks.
Yes, Dr. Brooks.
One of my professors one time told me, he said, give them what they want until you can give them what they need. If you don't give them what they want, you won't keep them around long enough to give them what they need. And that has served me well over the years.
That's good counsel. Yeah.
May I have the last word, please?
Go ahead.
Against what Donald said, when that comes up, I just say simply, how many prime ministers we have? 1. How many ministers we have? 30. So every government is a pyramid. Every church is a pyramid. Every household is a pyramid. A pyramid is everything. However, we are not a pyramid because we do products.
Right, and it's not a scheme.
So true.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Okay, guys. Well, okay, so listen, just real quick. Monday morning on our call, Julie Russin is going to join our Monday morning conference call. Julie's a distributor, synergy distributor down in Utah. So should be a fun call Monday morning. So you're welcome to join us. Thanks, Judy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Have a great week.